What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. 10-game NBA DFS slate. All sorts of body parts that are not available. Therefore, an absolutely insane, a plethora amount of value. 2 hours, 2+ hours, nonstop NBA DFS talk will be relieved by, I believe we have Ameansy back tonight, as well as Keith Eyster, and Andy Means. Crunch Time. Crunch Time is free this year thanks to Fanduel. Fanduel sponsors Crunch Time. Joining me today for the first portion of our show. We go for an hour 20, Bobby, and they come in for about 40 minutes or so. But you think that's fair?
It's fine. We can just work through it. It's going to be tough. We're going to get a lot of news, but keep chugging along. They get to go for 30. We get to go for 120. I don't know. I think we're getting the short end of the stick here.
Yeah, but you know what? We get to make our lineups like uninterrupted. We don't have to be on air right after the bell, and I kind of like that. So I'm not complaining. That was me just stirring the pot and be a jerk.
I'm with you in terms of that because I'm playing 150 tonight.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to, or maybe it would be trickier to do so. I don't know if I can multitask and like be on air and lock it in your 150. Of course, you'll probably tend to them throughout the night as information comes in, but. Yeah, that's a thankless job. I don't think I want to do that all the way up to the bell. I did it once, and I didn't like it.
Did you? Yeah, it seems very difficult. They do a very good job of like sifting through it, and a lot of people do they're able to get their teams in. I don't know how I would do in that situation personally.
Usually, I just hope like the 7:00 game is uneventful. And say, oh, there's one 7:00 game and it's uneventful, and okay, I can just ignore it. I can backload my rosters. I can kind of figure it out. But that's not the case tonight. There's eventful games all throughout the slate. Luka Doncic is out. Zion is not playing basketball. Banchero's out once again. A lot of questionables out there. Drew Holiday, Halliburton, Donovan Mitchell, FVV, Wendell Carter Jr., Aaron Gordon. Our pets' heads are falling off. Marcus Smart is not playing basketball tonight. Did I say Bam Adebayo? Malcolm Brogdon is not playing basketball. It's a wild one for sure. Bobby, you got to like your lineups tonight. Like it's if you have a really high, either you're really bad at making lineups, or your bar of like acceptable. You should like your lineups when you submit them tonight. I feel like you should like them.
No, I'm in the same boat. Everything, my script that I have right now, currently, until we get the news, looks great. So, as far as right now, I'm ready to go. I think we'll be making some changes, but yeah, I like this slate. Looks like a fun one.
Say what's up to the chat. See Mr. Richard and Stan hanging out there. Kindly, we want to make it as interactive as possible. Join the conversation. Especially if you say something that's relevant to the game we're talking about. We're going to go game by game. If it's not, if I feel like it's worth talking about, we'll kind of jump in there and discuss that. But yeah, game by game, 10 games, enough pleasantries, Bobby. We only have so much time for pleasantries. We're going to dive right in. First 7:00 game is Indiana and Charlotte right out the gate. This is a pretty good one. This is one we got to keep our eyes on. 233.5 is a total. It's a monster total. Two defenses we like to pick on, and it's tight as well, right? Indiana is just a 2-point dog here. The big deal here is that Halliburton runs the show there for Indiana. He's currently questionable on the other side. Nothing's really changed. Gordon Hayward is still out. Cody Martin's still out. DSJ is doubtful. Doesn't really matter too much. So as it stands right now, if Halliburton's in, how interested in you in Halliburton? And if he's out, we're going to have more value. I presume TJ McConnell is probably the most interesting value piece that kind of jumps in. I don't know if he'll start or not, but I imagine either him or like Mathurin will jump in the starting lineup. Your stance as far as Indiana, and I guess we should mention also Miles Turner. He's a big dude that's facing Charlotte, and that's always a big bullseye right there as well. Centers, we have plenty of value. We'll talk about it as we get to throughout the slate, but Miles Turner looks awesome to me. And of course, if Halliburton doesn't play, McConnell becomes pretty interesting. I'm not really sure where he lands though in all the value today, to be honest.
Yeah, so if Halliburton is in, I don't mind him as a run back with a ball. I really like Ball on the other side in this game. I think he's probably my favorite play in this game. If he's out, I think it makes TJ McConnell, we've seen him have a ceiling when he's in situations like this. Benedict Mathurin is someone who I think you would kind of look to. I think his usage rate's like 25% right now currently anyways. So I would have interest there. Buddy Hield, defense versus archetype. The Hornets really struggle against shooting wings. So I don't mind him in large field GPP stuff. But it is a 10-game slate. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds in Pacers. Like I said, my favorite play from this game is probably from the Charlotte side and Ball.
You mentioned the defense versus archetype, and this is kind of like right around the time of year where I start paying attention to that. I try not to like get like too much in the weeds as far as the samples, you know, depending on matchup and all kind of stuff. But that is one of my favorite tools. Like later on in the season, is now. Do we have a big enough sample to all of a sudden be alarmed, be interested in such things? Because we talk about positionless basketball all the time, and we're not talking about like, you know, forwards against the Bulls or whatever. We're talking about you know, a 3-and-D wing. Like the best team to play against 3-and-D wings happens to be the Warriors, for the record. It's like Mikal Bridges. I'm not just throwing that out as an example. Like I don't necessarily, it's not jumping off the page to play for Mikal Bridges. It's kind of overpriced, but this feels like a really good matchup for him. 3-and-Ds have crushed Golden State. Where that's one of our premium tools, by the way. Where is Healed? Indiana? What is he? A 3-point shooter?
He's number one possible defender, Kelly Oubre. Yep.
Yeah. It's just, it's this slate is so good. The thing is that it's hard to play players that are just like their standard situation, right? Like you're going to be leaning into the guys, like everybody's getting their bumps.
I'm not saying like Heald's this fantastic play, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that in large field stuff, I think you can make a case.
No, I agree. I guess I'm trying to like, because my first instinct, at least, I want to exploit all the situations where players are out, and you know, and
that's where you should start.
Yeah, and then but like as a filler play, there's nothing that says Buddy Hield can't put like 7 threes on the Hornets. Like that, of course, can happen. Yeah. How about Miles Turner? How do you feel about Miles Turner against Charlotte?
Yeah, bigs versus Charlotte. Been a thing for probably the last 2-3 years. I have no issue going to Turner. I think he's someone I would have interest in. See, like if Halliburton's out, like you don't want to overlook a play like Turner. If he's in, I still think Turner is viable. I know it's a 10-gamer, but just with how bad Charlotte has been versus centers, I would give some consideration to Turner.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is I'm always a little bit hesitant to kind of lock up too many players at 7:00, right? Because especially in this slate, where information might trickle on through that, you know, players that look good now can look elite later. As far as ownership, it's interesting. We'll talk about LaMelo and Charlotte on the other side in a second, but for Indiana, the highest ownership we have right now, surprisingly, Isaiah Jackson. He's just so volatile, and sure, he can get off as well, but you know, his minutes vary from like 17 to 30, depending on how things are going. Foul trouble, if he's playing well, and yada, yada. Halliburton, we got at 6-7%. Buddy Hield, you said at 5 or 6%. There's not really much else going on the Indiana side. Again, this stuff can change. But you mentioned LaMelo, and I was a little bit surprised. He's got 21% as far as his ownership projection. Obviously, the matchup's good. There seems to be no minutes restriction for him. He's just like he's restricting his own minutes by getting in foul trouble. But if he can avoid foul trouble, he can play 33, 34, 35. Yeah, I like LaMelo a good bit. I especially on Fanduel. If you're playing on Fanduel today, he's like 8-3 over there, which seems really good. 8-9 on DK I like. But again, I like a lot of stuff tonight.
Yeah, LaMelo would probably be like I said, he's probably my favorite play on the Hornet side for every reason you just gave. His minutes have been restricted because he's getting into foul trouble. We can definitely see him playing 35 minutes, so I have no issue with Melo. You can make a case for Rozier, but like you said, you don't want to get too tied down at 7:00.
I haven't run optimals yet. I can run them on the fly here, but I see Derek in chat, LaMelo is hitting the optimal. That's a little bit surprising. I wouldn't think he would. But maybe that's why. I mean, we got a pretty healthy projection on him. DK specific at 47 points. He's 8.9K, so a pretty good price, pretty good fantasy production. But I'm a little bit surprised that that's hitting. Yeah, because this slate is so good. It's not that he's not a great play. I don't think I'm going to be focusing on much else. The same rules on Oubre. You put him on Buddy Hield. Of course, Oubre can have his game, like you mentioned, Rozier as well. Sure. But otherwise, I mean, Plumlee has his moments. He's fine, I guess. Yeah, LaMelo did hit the first optimal I ran as well, too. That's all right. He's hit the first several. 28% in total for what it's worth. What else is there to say as far as Charlotte?
I think we kind of hit on pretty much everything.
Okay, let's keep our eye on the news, see if anything funky drops, and we'll kind of circle back if anything happens. But again, just kind of put a pin in TJ McConnell potentially. How much is McConnell? Oh, he's 3-4. Oh boy,
Yeah, he's 3-4. If he gets in there, I think like if Halliburton's out, he becomes a much more interesting play.
Yeah, I wonder if they start him. He's kind of like their second unit guy, right? He might close. I don't know if he starts though. I don't know if it matters. Probably projecting. I mean, I'm on the projection team, but my head says like he would play like 28 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And he's close to a fantasy point minute guy, right? I think so. Pretty sure. This season, 0.91 on Fanduel, 0.87 on DK, and a 3-4 on DK. That's a pretty good price for sure. So I think McConnell will be pretty interesting. We got 10 games. Let's move on. Let's power on through the next one up. It's Minnesota. Minnesota and the Magic, 222.5 is the total. Minnesota is a 6-point favorite here on the road. As far as who's in and who's out, we have nobody on Minnesota outside of Naz Reid. I don't think he's very significant. Actually, you know what? No, he's expected to be back. So forget it. Yeah, he's expected to be back. So Minnesota, this is kind of the point I was making, Bobby. And again, I'm not here to say you can't play Anthony Edwards or you can't play Gobert or Cat. I don't know how much I will because their situation, there's no like something you can't point to something and say, well, this guy is getting a distinct bump based upon whatever. It's just like they're fully staffed. So, what do you do at Minnesota? Because the matchup's fine against Orlando. I have a hard time. If I'm going to play anybody, it's Edwards, but I'm probably not playing anybody.
Yeah, it's tough to play Minnesota usually just because they have so many guys and all the usage is kind of split up. But and it's a 10-game slate. Like we don't really have to go there. I don't hate Gobert at his price tag at $7K on DK. I think that's a price tag that you can make work, but you just don't want to get too loaded up on center with the news we have late. On the Magic side, like do we have new Wendell Carter news yet?
No, he's questionable. But Banchero's out, and all the other usuals that have been out. They've been out all season long, like Mo Wagner and Fultz and Harris and Cole Anthony. They're all out. Yeah, the Mo Bamba one. I guess my question with him, and that's probably what you're leading into. How many minutes will they let him play? Is kind of my question because they kind of keep him in bubble wrap sometimes.
I'm worried about the minutes with Bamba. I do like Suggs. I think Suggs is a very interesting play at the point guard position for the Magic. They're both tournament plays, obviously. But my favorite play would be Suggs for what it's worth.
We got Matthew in chat saying, Bobby, you stole his comment about Gobert. 7K. That's true. 7K. Look, I'm willing to pay anybody or play anybody for the right price and pay anybody for the wrong price. It's a pretty good price. I know Gobert's been a little bit disappointing and we have an insane amount of value. But 7K, that's got to be like the cheapest he's been all season, right? I feel like it has been.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so. Sorry, Matt. Didn't mean to steal the I can't even see chat right now. What do I have to pull up the YouTube?
No worries. I don't even think he actually wrote it. He was just thinking it, and you still stole it.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know how that works. Producer Devin in chat, by the way, feeling generous. If we get 50 likes, he's going to fire up a Discord giveaway for a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. There you go. And that's not just for basketball. It's for all the sports as well. You see the fabulous lineup HQ tool that we're showing off here and all the projections and the expert rankings, the expert articles, and all the goods, all the bells, all the whistles for all the sports. You get that for a week free. Now, this is if you hit the like button. That's not too difficult. It doesn't cost anything. Hit that like button. Subscribe also while you're at it. Sure. Turn on those notifications so you know when we go live. Discord giveaway if we hit 50. I don't know if there's a lot of time with that, but we should hit 50. But that's not so hard. And Devin will fire it up in the Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord. You go to the live stream chat channel and just hit the bell and you become automatically eligible. And it will give it away like in a half hour, 45 minutes, depending on when Devin put the timer on. The Bamba one is really interesting because he can break a slate in like 26 minutes. Like he just fires away sometimes and gets really hot. I don't know what to do with him. It's 7:00. I guess, and this is under the assumption that Carter is out. We'll see. And I think that Carter did not practice today. So I would say it's more likely than not. Carter doesn't, he wasn't out there for a pregame shoot around. What do we have as far as on the season?
I'm playing Bamba, but like I said, I prefer Suggs just because
Yeah.
I would just wait for news and stuff like that. I'm playing Bomber and GPPs, but I think like there's interesting news ahead of that. Well, later on that we'll get to.
And did you mention Franz Wagner? Because I think that's, and then it's just a Fanduel specific. Bull's 5-3 over there. It's a pretty good price. I believe he's only center eligible, which is kind of constricting. But theoretically, he can get some more run if Carter's out as well. But Suggs, Wagner, Okiki now is probably priced out for me, and he's not like a major part of that offense. Tell me, so Suggs is your favorite. Why is Suggs your favorite?
I just think he's going to assume like the most in terms of usage. I guess like Bamba obviously has the GPP upside, but I just think Suggs is going to be the guy that's going to handle the ball in the situation more.
Yeah. The tricky part is just like, again, there's just so many good options. I don't know how to prioritize players right now. And I just, whenever for tiebreakers, I'll just backload,
I'm not prioritizing Suggs, but what I'm saying is
okay
on the Orlando side.
Yeah. Like where right now, what do you have, like 10% Suggs or something like that in your
yeah.
Okay. And what would do you know how much you would shift to Bamba, if at all, if Carter's rolled out?
I'd probably end up going a lot more overweight on Bamba because then I think the minutes are more secure.
Yeah, I'd really want him starting. But like they really don't have many other options as far as bigs. The other bigs in this team in Minnesota is big dudes, right? You need bigs, right? In theory, against Gobert and Cat. Although like some coaches I think have been throwing power forward, smaller guys against Cat. They feel like that works more efficiently. If they lost Carter, you're talking about Bamba's a big dude. Like the Admiral, you got Admiral Schofield, he's a big guy, but like he doesn't get a lot of run. And then Caleb Houston.
They're gonna need, but
That's
yeah,
it.
so maybe his minutes are maybe Bamba is the better play.
Well, the thing with him is like I don't think he's played more than like 24 minutes all season. I don't think the situations happened where Banchero and Wendell Carter have been out at the same time. But like he's got an injury history. He played 22 last game. The most minutes he's played this year is 24. If he starts, I'd feel a lot better. Maybe he gets 29 in the start, 28. They can do pretty well there. I don't know, man. Tough call. But like certainly in the pool if you're running 150.
Yep, without a doubt.
You got a bull take if Wendell Carter's out?
Bull for me, like he's just I'd much rather go to Bamba.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's if you're playing more so on DK, 6'3" is not nearly as
now 6,300 on DK.
Yeah. 5-3 on Fanduel is where I think that's more friendly, obviously.
He's better priced on Fanduel.
All right. Anything else here as far as this game, or shall we move on?
I think we can move on.
Okay. One more 7:00 game. Just kind of give it a peek here at Twitter to see if anything's changed, keeping an eye on what's going on there. Theoretically, we should be getting Wendell Carter news, and we did. He's still a game time decision, so that's worthless. That's one thing that at least will be nice. We'll know at some point before 7:00, theoretically, if Bamba is starting or not, if Carter is in or not. OKC at Washington, 229 is the total. Washington, they are a 5-point favorite here. As far as the injuries, Bradley Beal expected back for Washington tonight. For OKC, Trey Mann is still out, Baisley is still out, and they still have several guys in the G League. Their lineups their rotations have been a little bit more predictable, but as is typically, I can't imagine playing anything on OKC outside of SGA. Maybe Giddey, but Jalen Williams has his moments. Poku has been he's priced up, but he's been pretty good playing at the 5 as well. I don't know if I get there in this slate. SGA is awesome. He's just awesome, and still probably potentially a little bit underpriced, even at 9.4. I think it's like 1.4 fantasy points per minute this season, which is obviously elite. How much are you prioritizing Gilgeous-Alexander?
Yeah, like SGA, he's doing everything for OKC, so I don't have any issue getting to him. Like you said, 9.4 is kind of underpriced. I think he's going to come in like between 13 if it what 15%. What do we have him at for ownership?
Let's see. I'll take a peek. Let me give a refresh on the NFHQ tool as well, because
we have him at 14%, like 15%. So like, yeah, getting overweight on that I think is a good play in tournaments. I don't hate Giddey either. Giddey just like does it all pretty much. Yeah, but SGA would be my favorite. And on the Washington side, like Beal back, they're all kind of priced up for Beal being back.
Yeah,
I think you can make a case for Porzingis. I would Beal at 8. Beal's 8.3, right? Like he's just been deferring. So even though it would seem in previous years like that's a cheap price for Beal, I wouldn't be trying to play Beal. There's guys around him that I think are better plays.
Yeah. By the way, I shortchanged SGA. I pulled up the fantasy points per minute this season on FanDuel 1.48, on DK 1.44. It's just insane. Giddey coming back has hurt him a tick, but he's still really, really good. Like the DK price more than the FanDuel price. FanDuel 10.4, DK 9.4. The only issue I have, you kind of touched on it, is I don't like anybody as a run back on Washington. I don't need a run back. I don't think you have to run it back, but there's not any run back I'm going to force, I don't think. So, like you said, the Beal, in his absence, everybody else stepped up. Now he's back, and everybody else is, priced 20% too high or whatever it is. Enough where I don't want them. So I don't have any interest in Washington. You mentioned
I wouldn't if we have Zinger coming in at 5%. Like I might be overweight on that.
I'm seeing 0.73%.
On the screen right now, currently we have him at 5%. So.
Well, producers, give it a refresh.
Yeah.
Or maybe I got to give it a refresh. One of us has to give it a refresh.
I think it's you.
It's not me. I mean, unless he's on FanDuel or something.
No, I'm looking at the. That was on. I don't know. I was looking at just like our live screen currently. It had him at 5%.
Did it change?
Now he's not up there. I don't know.
Now I'm jumping over to FanDuel. Maybe it's FanDuel. He's 5%. Now this matters.
Yeah, FanDuel he's 5%.
Yes. Okay. He's 8.2 on FanDuel, and FanDuel he's 5%. Okay. On DraftKings, yeah, Steve, he'll jump around. Like, the people in the chat, they want to see FanDuel, they want to see DK. I was going to say freeloaders. I'll be nice. Again, you can win yourself 1 week free of RG Premium, and you can use this at your own leisure. How do you do that? You hit the like button, you get to 50 likes, and then Devin will go ahead and drop in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel, and just hit the bell. You're eligible to win yourself 1 week free. All you got to do. Not very simple. Nope, not very hard. It is simple. There you go. Yeah, so that's more of a FanDuel thing. And not that you can't play Porzingis on DraftKings. Like, of course you can. It's just, I have a hard time. And I'm not playing 150 for the record. If I don't make that clear, I'm playing like 10 and like 2 main lineups, essentially. So I have a hard time getting to anybody in Washington in my first 10 lineups. So that makes sense.
Yep.
Let's see. Now the chat's are asking me. Can somebody remind me where to find correlations on RG? That's what Daniel's asking.
Yeah, I think we got rid of it. I used to love that tool. I know it's kind of early in the year for that, but that was one of my favorite tools for grouping.
Maybe we need a bigger sample, wasn't it? Was that on the Slate IQ portion?
I talked to Ameansy about it the other day, and he said that he didn't think Jamino was bringing it back. I think for grouping in 150, it's really, really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that, to be honest. I didn't really use it. But there's like some tools I just like, oh wow, I had no idea we even had that. I'll just discover it one day. And that's not me. That's my bad. I should be aware of all the tools we have out here that are offering. But
we had like the top 50 positive correlations in previous years, and the top 50 negative correlations. You just save them as groups.
We have that somewhere on the site.
Yeah.
Okay, where would I find that now? Do you know?
We do not have that now.
Oh, we used to have that. I see.
We used to have it. Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's
I guess
why you're asking the question.
Well, maybe if there's a grassroots campaign, maybe Jamino will make it happen. I don't know what the.
I think he should bring it back personally.
Andre in chat said he liked that tool as well. So, yeah, Daniel wants it. Andre wants it. You want it. Let's just all hit the Jamino with an email at the same exact time. Let's tweet at him and tell him what's the story here. Obviously he wears multiple hats and he's working on a ton of different tools. So for some reason, I don't know why it wasn't prioritized, but maybe it'll come back at some point later in the season. We'll see. Stay tuned. I'll drop him a message and let him know that people are demanding it. We got anything else as far as OKC and Washington?
I wouldn't overlook Giddey in this game. I know a lot of people are playing SGA. I like Giddey a little bit. I like SGA, but I think Giddey's pretty interesting. You're saving money. Yeah, 6'8" to 9'4". They're both good plays, but yeah, that I like both, but I don't overlook Giddey because I think he's going overlooked at 6'7".
Less than 6% ownership on DK for Giddey. Poku is getting around 5% or so. Let's see. Producer Devin, we have a request in Discord for some prop information along the way if you have any. Yeah, I did. I didn't have time. I meant to go through some props today. I was going to write some up for Scores and Odds. Check out Scores and Odds for your gambling needs. ScoresandOdds.com, sister channel. But I just didn't have time. 10 games and a lot to go through, unfortunately. But I did have some thoughts, and I was looking for them earlier today. Like Jamal Murray. I was trying to see if he was available for three or any the 3-point shooters for Denver in general. I'm not sure if the lines are out just yet, but if you happen to have any, you have to cross a bridge, right, to get some sports wagers in? I think you do.
I have to drive to New Hampshire or Rhode Island.
How far away is that?
It's like an hour each way, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got to be. You have to really like something to do it.
Yeah, it's not. I have other outlets, other means that I can get action. I don't really like the sports bet for what it's worth. So
no, you don't see. You just rather play DFS.
Yeah, if like I'll hit it when props for NBA when we're gonna have DraftKings like sports betting in January, I think. So I'll probably play some props and stuff. But yeah, I've never really been into it too much.
Yeah, that's right. DK, the home of based in Massachusetts. I'm assuming you're having more than one. It's not like a monopoly, right? You're gonna have several options, I imagine, or just DK right now. Or you're not sure?
We'll have DK, Fanduel, the Encore. It's a casino that they just opened up. So yeah, Kirky. I think Kirky goes there occasionally.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be a fun guy to go to the casino.
He is. He's very good at baccarat for what it's worth.
How are you very good at baccarat?
I don't know.
You have one decision. You bet on the.
I didn't know what was going on. Everyone was banging on the table. Monkey, 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 monkey. I'm just sitting there.
I don't know what that means.
Kirky was winning. So I don't know.
I thought the only decision is you bet on the banker or you bet on the player.
Banker's like the best odds in the casino, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a big table game guy, but
I'll play some blackjack. Yeah, that's fun. I never really got into craps, but I'm a good roller. I've been like a ringer as far as a roller. I can do that, but as far as I don't know what I'm doing betting wise. We shall move on. Let's talk about Boston and Atlanta. 233. That's a big boy total, big number. Boston, obviously, without some of their better defenders, the absence of Robert Williams, who hasn't been there all season long, and Marcus Smart's out tonight, and Malcolm Brogdon's out tonight. Therefore, there is an opening there as far as the guards. We're expecting Derek White to jump in the starting lineup along with Brown, Tatum, and Grant Williams, Al Horford as well. They're pretty thin in that bench. Basically Hauser and Pritchard, not much as far as their bigs. I can see Boston playing a ton of minutes as far as their guys. Atlanta, not as exciting for me, fully healthy. They're interesting as far as run backs, I suppose. If you want to run back Trae Young, sure. But I think the most appealing thing here is the Boston side, especially Jason Tatum, who's just he's one of my favorite big spends on this slate. I imagine you concur. Talk about your Celtics. How do you prioritize these guys?
Yeah, Tatum is a very good play. Highest total game on the slate. I know it's a little – Dean thinks it's early for a defense-first archetype. He's got a very good matchup. Small sample size, so I don't mind Tatum. Basically Jaylen Brown, like these Celtics, Brown's a very good play. On the other side, I like DeJounte. Clint Capella, for what it's worth, he's been playing more minutes. Okongwu and Capella kind of had been clashing previously, but now we're seeing like more of an uptick for Capella's minutes. So I don't mind Capella on the Hawks side. Derek White's going to be extremely popular. I think he's likely like a good play as chalk. So I don't mind going to him. That about covers it from the Celtics side for me. Do you have any interest in any of these two?
Yeah, just taking a peek, by the way, Bradley Beal, he won't have his minutes limited on Wednesday, but his conditioning will be monitored per coach unselled, whatever that means. I guess he's fine. I assume he's going to play his regular minutes. I really like Tatum as a big spend if you can afford that. 10-9 I think is reasonable. I'm good with all these guys on Boston, really. Grant Williams, probably not so much. White at 4-9 I like a good bit, just a matter of prioritizing. We got him projected, playing the starting lineup, play 34 minutes. Again, they're thin in the backcourt. They have Hauser and Pritchard. Those guys can fill in some minutes too, but I imagine White's going to play 30 plus. Good with Brown as well. We're projecting 38, by the way. We're really ambitious. Tatum and Brown, 38 and 38. This just, and they play 82 games, right? This just feels like a game that means more. Atlanta's one of those teams that'll be battling in the playoffs later on in the season, presumably. I feel like they played each other last year in the playoffs. I feel like they did. Maybe I'm making that up.
I think they did. Pritchard, I would say too, is like you hit on Pritchard. I think Pritchard's a very good play behind White for savings. I wouldn't mind getting to him. John Collins at 5.5 hasn't had a ceiling game yet.
Yeah.
In the past, he's done pretty well versus the Celtics. I think one of the biggest issues, like into the season, who's gonna Murray, Trey, the guy who's taking the biggest hit is Collins.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind getting to Collins in the spot versus the Celtics. As a Celtics fan, I feel like he's hurt us a few times, so I wouldn't mind going there.
Is this the first half of the national TV doubleheader? You get those national TV commercials, you extend it a little bit longer. That's why the players play an extra minute or two. I believe the Phoenix Golden State one is the back half. So to double check on that. And by the way, you mentioned the defense versus archetype tool, and I was saying I like it. I really like that tool. And I think now is about the time where I start to take a peek. But I did take a peek, and I was reading it wrong. I was looking at 30, and I didn't realize 30 was the worst as opposed to the best. So Mikal Bridges is a really bad Mikal Bridges matchups, according to DVA. And that's why Buddy Hield is the best matchup when you were talking about Jason Tatum. Versatile forwards. We're calling him a versatile forward. Versatile forwards have been the number one play against Atlanta so far this year. So just wanted to, in case anybody was talking about the Bridges thing, not that you can't play Bridges, but yeah, according to our defense versus archetype tool, he's not a phenomenal play. But yeah, I like the Boston side. The tricky part, again, the run backs. Young is expensive, but I don't mind running it back with Young. I'm going to play Young over Murray like almost every time. You mentioned Collins, and the price is pretty good at 5.7, but he's certainly taking a hit. He's not really playing the 5 anymore like he did last year. He picked up the 5. Now it's just either Capella or Okongwu. He was best at the 5, so that's probably hurting him as well. I like Boston a good bit. Can you rank the Boston pieces for me as far as how when you consider everything? Obviously Tatum's the best play, but considering salary, ownership, and all that, how are you targeting Boston?
Yeah, so I would go. Well, Tatum's, like I said, like you said too. Tatum's probably my favorite play. But Kevin White and Pritchard, like they're right there. And then I think the guy Jaylen Brown would be 4th for me, but I think that I would try to get overweight on Brown in tournaments. I just think Brown and Tatum are both very good plays on the slate. And the value is great. I'd probably play at most 3 Celtics though, if 4 is hitting my lineups.
Yeah, I wouldn't play 4. I can't play 4 in this slate. Everything else is too good around it. Shout out to Paul in chat, by the way. Paul won the $4 GPP yesterday. Want to give credit to you guys because I wouldn't have played Sims and Davis if I wasn't talked about here. I don't think I get credit for that. That wasn't me. Somebody else talked about him. Somebody mentioned Hartenstein not getting minutes. Yeah, Hartenstein, he's super handsy. He got in foul trouble yesterday, and that's what opened the door for Sims. And Davis really benefited from the fact that Murray got hurt also, and then he played not fully into that blowout when Brooklyn just getting absolutely walloped last night. But Davis had a career night, man. He was spectacular if you had him. And geez, I had him in one lineup, and I messed around and some late swapping, and I'm like, something didn't fall my way, and then I messed with the rest of the lineup. You know how it goes sometimes, and I moved away from him, so that was kind of a bummer. Anyways, Andre, by the way, big fan of roulette. Roulette, what a racket roulette is. You're not a fan of roulette, are you? You said you don't like the table games at all.
Roulette, yeah. I don't really like table games. Roulette would probably be my favorite. But
poker?
Not a big table games guy.
Poker?
I never know poker neither. I was never really in I would probably prefer playing poker, but yeah. We don't have casinos in Mass, so it's not like I was growing up in Vegas or I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You never been like a poker night or whatever with the?
No, with my friends. Yeah, I played in college and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
poker would probably be my favorite, but I'm not any good. I wouldn't say I'm a good poker player.
Come join my game then. Gary Trent, by the way, downgraded to doubtful for what it's worth there on the Toronto side. We got a Gary Trent update, but not a Freddie Van Vliet update. So there should be some follow-up questions. We should get news in that game. Usually coaches meet, an hour and a half before game tips off. That game is 7:30. That game is next as far as our conversation as well. Miami, Toronto, 215.5 is the total. Miami is a 1.5-point dog here. The big deal here as far as the Heat, they're without all their big dudes essentially. Bam Adebayo is out with his knee. Udonis Haslem, who actually matters today, is out for personal reasons. Tyler Heroes is out as well. And last big man potentially standing would be Dwayne Dedmon. Yurt Seven's also out for not the season, but months, I believe. Dwayne Dedmon is questionable. He's got a foot. But if he plays, he's a pretty good fantasy point minute player. He would almost guarantee to draw the start and play. I don't know how many minutes we're predicting for him because Toronto's a weird matchup in that they're big on the wing, but their fives are generally not big. So you can get away playing small to 5, but they're big everywhere else. 2 through 4. So yeah, let's say Dedmon plays, and I know he's one of our best point per dollar guys. Of course, he's super cheap as well. How do you feel about Dwayne Dedmon? Yeah,
Dedmon along with the Celtics value is probably going to be the way people kind of go on this slate, at least how we have it currently. I don't mind Dedmon chalk. I'm playing it. It's basketball. We just play the chalk. There are plays that I think are interesting, but I'm just going to try to be overweight on Dedmon. Butler is probably my second favorite play. I just think getting to him with Bam out, he's obviously going to see the usage increase. I don't really mind that.
And Hero
for that matter. Yeah. I think I'd prefer Butler though. Would you prefer Hero?
Oh no, Hero's out.
Oh, Hero's out. Yeah.
Yeah. They're Butler, without Bam and they're without Hero. So
Butler's pretty much the guy. I should have. Yeah. Wow. Butler's pretty much my second favorite guy on the Heat side.
Yeah, I like Butler as well. He's a little bit pricey, but it feels like he's going to be the guy they lean on. Dedmon is really interesting. This is one of those slates, right, Bobby, where Dedmon's 3-3, right? He's 3-4. And if I told you he gives you 25 points, no more, no less, how much of that do you want? That's not going to hurt you. Does that make you? Did you need that?
It depends what opens up, right? I don't know. Right now, I currently have Dedmon in good majority of my lineups.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I think we're rejecting him in. And, obviously, if he's out, he'll go down to 0. But we're projecting him in. I believe we're giving him 27 fantasy points. And how many minutes we're giving him? Probably high 20s. Let's see, 25. Just 25 minutes. So, like we said, strong fantasy point minute player, obviously. What is he on the season, point per minute? 1.05 on DK, 1.04 on Fanduel. Butler, 1.24 on DK, and that's standard. That's not when you kick Bam Adebayo and Hero off the court. I can run a court IQ on that, but I presume his rates will jump up. What if Dedmon's out? Then what do we see? Because Miami will be scrambling. They don't really have bodies to – they don't really have a 5. They don't have one. How are they going to make that work? Or they're just going to play a bunch of wings and Toronto plays a bunch of wings and that's that?
I think it'll probably go smaller. I don't think they're really going to go out of Caleb Martin probably gets a bump. I just don't think there's really who would step in that situation. I don't even know personally.
Well, Nikola Jovic might get some run. I can't imagine.
We're not playing him though, right?
He'll play some minutes, but he's not going to play enough for me to consider playing him in DFS. He's really raw. Haywood Highsmith would enter the rotation. They have Jamal Cain, who I think they kind of liked during whatever, what do they call that? The Summer League. But none of these guys are going to get a ton of minutes, I don't think. And my guess is this game goes small. And Toronto, they're going to start Koloko most likely, but Thad Young can play 5 for them. I guess they can have Wancho play some 5. They can have Boucher play some 5. He's like tall, but like not, he's not a big strong guy. I don't know. But I'm just trying to think of the potential options. But Miami essentially is forced to play small because they wouldn't have any options if Dedmon's not available. So
yeah, I think the game would just go small. I don't see it makes sense, right?
Yeah, and with Trent, we just kicked Trent out. By the way, our projections are updating as we speak. We're expecting it's FEV, Anunoby, Barnes, Thad Young, and then Koloko. I don't know if Koloko survives this game. Koloko might benefit if Dedmon plays, but I'm not playing Koloko in this slate. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah,
we've seen him start many times and just disappear. But he could, if Dedmon plays, maybe his minutes bump up a little bit, but not enough for me to care. Your thoughts as far as Toronto? Let's assume that Freddie is back from his illness. We don't know that yet.
Yeah, like FEV in that situation. I think he's somewhat interesting. Barnes and OG would probably be the other 2 guys that I have interest in. It's just tough. Like, they obviously play so many minutes. But I don't know if I'm really prioritizing any of these guys. They're fine in tournaments, but if I was playing, there's no one I really just like. I don't know. Fred VanVleet, Otto Porter. No, Otto Porter's questionable. Why am I even? Fred VanVleet, OG, and Barnes are probably the 3 guys that I'd have interest in.
Yeah,
I got to update stuff as we
Trent
speak.
not officially ruled out. He's doubtful, and Porter is out with his foot. And Achua, obviously, and Pascal, obviously, he's still out. I did run the court IQ. By the way, I kicked Bam and Hero off the court. Let's see what we have. Butler at 23.3% usage in 80 minutes. That's actually not what I expected. It's basically the same. So as other rates go up, as assists rates go up and his rebounding rate goes up, right? His usage doesn't, but he's distributing the ball, he's handling the ball, he's assisting more, he's rebounding more, and his per 36 actually jumps by over 11 DK points. So again, his sample is not huge. It's 80 minutes, but he's seen a significant jump as far as fantasy points per minute. 1.56 DK fantasy points per minute, 1.55 on Fanduel. Again, I don't know if I would expect that much, but certainly he's going to be tasked with doing a lot. And Butler is an awesome big spend. And that's the thing. It's like Tatum's an awesome big spend, and Butler is an awesome big spend. And this is why we talked about LaMelo. Like, I like LaMelo. Am I going to get there? I don't know. And this is why I can't see myself getting the Porzingis or the Beal, or the Minnesota guys. I'm only making so many lineups. So that's just, I got to cut myself off somewhere. But it's just, this slate is just filled with so much goodness, is the overall point there. If VanVleet doesn't go, are we going to go back to Banton and Flynn? DK really overreacted on the Banton price. He's now 5-1. Flynn is 4-2. Boucher is always kind of an interesting wild card, but he's basically as expensive as he gets at $6K. You have any thoughts as far as Freddie being out?
It would still just be like I think that with the price for Banton going up to 5K, it's a little bit too expensive. You can make a case to play him. I don't know. Flynn, I just don't. In terms of I don't think I'd be playing much Malachi Flynn on the slate.
Some questions here in chat. Dort or Herbert Jones? I would say, this is from Ken Lickapine, by the way, if you're curious who was asking that question. Dort or Herbert Jones? I would say neither. I'm not playing either one of those guys in this slate.
Neither, but Dort.
Yeah. Okay. If you're forced to choose, yeah, fair enough. I just don't see myself playing either one today. I think there's better stuff out there. Fair enough, though. Let's see, trying to catch up and see what the chat's talking about. Thad Young playing center. Yeah, Thad can play some center as well.
Thad would be someone I'd have interest in if all these bigs are out, right? Because he would kind of slide into that role.
Well, the weird thing is like, you'd think Thad's kind of an old guy, and like they push him. He played 34 minutes a couple games ago, 26 the game before that. I think Did that game blow out against Detroit? Why did he only play 26? Or I can't remember the reason why. I just don't know. I think he's fine, if FEV's out. If he's not out, I'm not playing him. But maybe Thad plays some center against more center. If Dedmon's out, probably more likely to get some 5 play. But again, I don't know how much I need that. Really, it's if Dedmon's in, I think I'm going to play a good bit of Dedmon, and I don't know how I feel about that. We'll see.
I think everyone's going to be playing a good bit of Dedmon.
Maybe he's probably a good fade then, if that's true. Like, be under the field on. Like he's a good fantasy point minute player, but he also might. There's no guarantee he closes this game. This game could absolutely just go small, and that's that.
There's definitely negative leverage in playing him, but you need other things to kind of go your way if you're going to fade. Who in that range would you play outside of Dedmon?
Well, I mean, I don't want to mention DeAndre Jordan, but like
I actually would be more inclined to play Jordan over Dedmon at 3-3.
That's such a mess with that one.
But I
like Miles Turner at center, maybe save money elsewhere, like that kind of thing. As far as other bigs, like center specific, is Christian Wood a center? Christian Wood's a center. I like it's different price, but it's a lineup construction thing.
Yeah.
And also, Dedmon's the kind of guy that can get 2 quick fouls very easily, too. Like, he does that on occasion. I'm not trying to make anybody scared or run away from it, but, it's, again, I don't think it's a lock that he closes this game. I don't know if he fits the scheme of Toronto on the other side. It's not like he's playing against Minnesota. If he's playing against Minnesota, then I'd expect he'd close. But against Toronto, not certain. So, I might be a little. If the number's like, what do we see? What do we have as far as his ownership? It's a big number, right? Just 27, which is surprisingly feels a little bit low to me. But stay tuned. These things change. But I'm okay fading him, I think. But I'm gonna have some. It's sort of that's my current stand right now, and we might just get him ruled out any minute. Speaking of that, we did just get some news that Gary Trent's officially ruled out. Freddie VanVleet officially in. Chris Paul unlikely to play for Phoenix tonight, which is somewhat surprising. I thought he would play. No Chris Paul. We'll talk about that game soon enough, but that's an interesting, the elements. That was the game where earlier in the season, Booker and Klay Thompson got into it. Remember that? And Klay got ejected. A little revenge. Yeah, so that'll be a fun game to watch if nothing else. But I got nothing else. Freddie's interesting. Like, you can play Freddie. Him being back, I think it's not it's slight hits, I suppose, to Barnes and OG. But Trent being out, I think we've already adjusted to that, if I'm not mistaken. Anything else we have here as far as Miami, Toronto, or shall we move on?
I think we covered it. VanVleet would probably be my favorite play from Toronto now. I think he was anyways previously.
Yeah. I mean, he had an illness and he was out for like 6 days or something. So I assume he's full go as far as restrictions and all that. Like the Scotty Barnes price is, I don't want to say it's getting out of hand, but 7-8. I just don't see myself doing that. OG at 7-2, probably not. Yeah, I agree. I think Freddie's the best option in this grouping. We didn't mention Kyle Lowry. Like, you could play Kyle Lowry, but Strus theoretically can play 35 minutes out there and just chucks from 3. And if he's on, he's on. And, but they're asking a max price for him, 5'9". I'm not really sure if we've seen him that expensive all season long or ever. Chicago, New Orleans, 226.5 is the total. Chicago is a 1.5 point dog. Pretty healthy. Cody White's out. That's it. Zion's out for New Orleans. You saw a situation last night. I don't like anybody in Chicago. It's just the same old story I've been saying the entire slate, is that nobody's benefiting from somebody else being out. The prices are just sort of what they should be. If you want to take the scenic route and play some DeMar DeRozan and you feel like he's going to hit his 17 mid-range shots, then by all means go for it. But I don't see myself playing any Bulls tonight.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, probably with both of these teams, for that matter. It's just everyone. It's a 10-game slate, and pretty much everyone's healthy. So, well, I don't know. Like, Zion's out, but still, like, you have McCollum, Ingram. Who would be your favorite? And that's Valanciunas. I think McCollum would still be my favorite. I don't know. I just don't love this game too much on the slate.
My favorite play in this game might be, all things considered, Larry Nance. It's going to feel kind of chasey. Well,
isn't it chasey though? Because he's not. Did he really? Like, I don't know. You can go ahead and say why.
Yeah. So the thing is, I feel like people played Larry Nance yesterday because Zion was ruled out, but
it was
Zion,
incorrect, right?
That was incorrect math because Valanciunas and Larry Nance have only played 6 minutes together this entire season. 6. So that Larry Nance and Valanciunas just flip-flop all the time. Whoever they play the 5 and that's that. And like Valanciunas has been getting hurt significantly by Nance, and Nance has been closing almost all the time of late. That's why you see Nance he's got a 28-minute projection and Valanciunas is a 20-minute projection. So, yeah, Zion's out, but that does not affect him. Like, other guys get elevated. Murphy gets elevated. Marshall gets elevated. I think we saw Marshall close over Murphy yesterday. We saw Murphy start for what it's worth. Daniel's got a little bit more run. Alvarado, in the backcourt, he's just like he's a good player to have on your team. I don't know how he's annoying to play against, I can imagine. He seems like a pest. But he's been closing for them as well. But yeah, so the Nance thing, it's not affected by Zion. But what's interesting is you're facing Chicago, and Chicago's got Vukovic, who's a big dude, right? And then behind him is an even bigger guy in Drummond. So would Nance play against those guys? Would you put a 5 against them, and close against those guys? Maybe, probably, but it just seems a little different, right? They're just going smaller and saying, whatever. Nance is our 5, and Vuk's our 5, or Drummond's our 5. We like our chances. And he's been phenomenal. He's been great. It does feel like a spot where they might once again play a little Valanciunas and Nance together, but probably not. I can't assume that's going to happen. I just thought that was interesting, and I saw Nance was kind of well owned yesterday. And also, what happened on the other side of that game is that Steven Adams got 3 fouls in the first 2 minutes, which opened the door for Clark. So their backup 5 is also small too, and Clark matches up perfectly with Nance. So if you paired those two together, it was just you were partying last night. You're having yourself a good time. Otherwise, like McCollum's fine, Ingram's fine. Herb Jones is not really affected. He was in foul trouble yesterday too, if you're wondering why his minutes were dinged a little bit. But there's not one player that gets a significant jump. And again, Marshall might start, Murphy might start, but on this slate, there's nobody that gets a big enough bump to move the needle, even with Zion being out on New Orleans.
We have Nance at 21%.
Yeah, that's a big number, right?
That's a horrible play. I don't really like Nance at 21%. I didn't realize if he was lower, I would make the case to play him.
He's still really cheap. I want to say his price actually went down after yesterday, down to 4.2K.
I was hoping he wasn't going to come in with as much ownership, and then I think your case makes more sense to play him.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we've seen it before. I can't remember the situation where Valanciunas and Nance played together. I ran the court IQ on it. It was 6.3 minutes or something like that. Don't know the specific scenario, but maybe it's something like this by Halliburton according to the chat. All right, that means we don't have to worry about McConnell if Halliburton's playing. I don't see that anywhere, but let's confirm. Maybe they're ahead of me, and somebody's at the DeLorean, because I don't see it on Twitter just yet as far as Halliburton. But okay, we'll stay tuned. But where do you see that? Give us a link there, Mr. Richard. Not that I don't trust you, but yeah. And Halliburton, you can play another just star you can play in this slate, and he's in a nice matchup if he is playing tonight. All right. So what's weird is somebody saying in, and so I'm getting conflicting information in the chat. Producer saying Halliburton's out. Richard saying he's in. All right. I think I don't know. What do you see? Are you on the Twitter?
I'm on TweetDeck right now. Hold on.
Maybe did I miss it earlier? Did that news drop? Somebody show me where that. I
haven't seen it, so.
Okay, so you know what's going on is the lineup HQ projection team is just kicked Halliburton out, and it pops up in real time, and it might have showed up on the screen. It says Halliburton down to 0. Now he's projected back up to 45 points. I don't think anything's changed. I just think that there's kind of messing with stuff, and I'm just guessing, but all right, just kind of throwing me off there for a second. I understand why you would think he was out though, because our team had him out there for a second, but now we have him back in. All right, like that didn't happen. So long story short, as far as I do think Nance at 22% seems a little high. I do agree with that, but he's really good, and he's been getting the bigger part of the stick as opposed to the center battle of Valanciunas. Although this matchup might suggest that flips tonight, I wouldn't assume that, and our projection team's not. They're giving 28 to Nance. Anything else of note here as far as this game? Who's your favorite player in the Pelicans?
Like I said, it'd probably be McCollum. But no, like both sides of this game, I don't have a ton of interest in.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well. Like definitely not Chicago, New Orleans to some degree. I just closed up my lineups page accidentally. So just give me 1 second while I scroll.
Like Trey Murphy, Nance Marshall, like those are the values. Or does that maybe Murphy? I think I'd like Murphy more than Nance if Nance is going to be that high owned.
Yeah, I mean yesterday we saw Murphy start but not close. He's got to make his threes, but he's also not like a high priority guy. Yeah, it's just my issue is it's just a slate. Like Herb is just going to be who he is. He's a definitive 3-and-D guy, not a big usage guy. Really good defender, so his stay on the court is pretty well solid. Like he's not going to he's going to close almost definitely if the game is close. All right, another 8:00 game is Cleveland and Milwaukee. As far as the injuries here, so Cleveland is expected. Well, it's questionable as far as Donovan Mitchell, but my guess is he plays. We'll see. Stay tuned on that. Cleveland is out. Dean Wade is officially doubtful, I believe. Jared Allen, that's the big one. He is out with an illness. As far as Milwaukee, we don't know about Drew Holiday. He's questionable with his ankle. Pat Connaughton, this will be his season debut, I believe. I don't think he's played all season long. He's probable with his calf. Wesley Matthews out with a hammy. Middleton not ready just yet. I think he's in the G League. And then Grayson Allen is doubtful with his ankle. We certainly have the money to pay for Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's certainly pricey also. What is the number you need in order to justify 12.8K for Giannis? What do you need out of him? 70?
70, yeah, probably. I don't know how much Giannis I'm going to have tonight. Maybe that's not the best thing because he's Giannis, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see myself getting there currently.
I don't know if I'm getting there or not. I'm never going to say you can't play Giannis like a fourth.
Yeah.
The other night, a couple days ago, we had the value, and he wasn't somebody that I prioritized. I didn't love the matchup against Atlanta. He was coming back from a knee injury that I guess was real because he missed several games out of it. But like again, it's not that restricting on the rest of your lineups. Obviously you're going to be probably a couple of your 9 or 10K guys fall back, that kind of thing. It's a lineup construction thing. Where we have him as far as ownership? Let's give it a refresh because I feel like he's not that heavily owned.
He's not highly owned. It doesn't seem like.
Which that's of note. Cleveland, good defensive team. They're hurt by Allen, obviously.
5% currently.
Yeah. I won't play anybody else besides Giannis on Milwaukee. I'm not paying 8.8 for Holiday if he plays. If he doesn't play Javon Carter for 5.8, probably not. Yeah. Beauchamp is going to probably start, but no. For me, it's just Giannis or basically nothing. I'm not going to play Connaughton in his first game of the season. Yeah. As far as Cleveland, Kevin Love looks like a pretty solid value play. 5.6K, going to get some additional run in the absence of Jared Allen. Mobley looks pretty good, I assume. Well, I don't know. You think they throw what do they throw on Giannis? Would they throw Mobley on him?
I think they'd throw Mobley on him, yeah. I think with Allen out, Love and Mobley are getting the most usage increase. If Mitchell sits, I would have some interest in Garland. Yeah, I'm pretty much – that's where I'm kind of at on this game. I don't love the Milwaukee side. Maybe that's the wrong move. Maybe you should be getting up to Giannis if he's going to be 5% owned, but currently I'm not there.
Well, if you're running 150, you're not going to have 5%. You're going to
I'll have Giannis, but I'm not going to be
yeah.
I'd rather play Tatum or Butler, guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are better plays in the vacuum for sure. If I was running 150, of course, like you don't X them out, and it's not that hard to get to the field, right? 5%, it's not that difficult, not that restricting. If Mitchell doesn't play, are we chasing Garland's just completely insane game his last time out? He was a 50 burger, I believe, 51. I want to say, if you want to get all precise and technical. They were very proactive in raising up his price. Darius Garland's now $9K. If Mitchell plays, like, Garland's unplayable, in my opinion. Mitchell, I believe, is leading the league in minutes per game. If I'm not mistaken. He's played a ton of minutes this year. They're getting their money's worth out of him there in Cleveland. So, and if this game stays close and Mitchell's playing, you got to assume he's one of the reasons why. I don't mind him as a run back if you're playing Giannis. But and then of course Mobley's pretty good. There's the obligatory, like, hey, if he's covering Giannis, chance of him getting in foul trouble is increased by incrementally at worst. Just worth noting. But like otherwise, like you're not thinking about the fringe pieces like the Lamar Stevenses of the world. I can't imagine you're rostering him. Anything else of note here as far as Cleveland before we move on?
No, that's probably it.
All right. Houston and Dallas. Let's see if we got any news there. Nope, no news just yet. Just kind of jumping back and forth. Did we run? I see Devin in chat. Did we see Don Yeezy saying Garland if Mitchell is out. I don't know if I'm paying $9K for Garland. Did you? I was talking to myself, I think. Did you? I might answer my own question. Did I ask you the question? Would you play Garland in the $9K? I guess you can, but
I think you can play Garland in GBPs, but like I wouldn't go crazy.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But he would have to be the guy. Like he would have to run the show for sure. Him and LeVert, I guess.
I'd rather just play SGA at 9-4.
I think that's how I feel too, especially if you're not playing Giannis. You just kind of hope that game, like one of those like games that are more fun to watch as opposed to play from DFS. TJ in chat mentioning Garland 7-8 on FanDuel. Okay, yeah, you can play Garland at 7-8 on FanDuel if Mitchell's out. That I can talk to. I don't know if I can talk to if we get Devin, hit the like button. And if you hit the like button, 4 people do it, which that's not very difficult. Hit the like button. Devin's going to fire up a contest. Not a contest, just a giveaway. 1 week free of RotoGrinders Premium in the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord. Hit up the live stream chat channel. If just 4 more people hit that like button, Devin will start that. And, it's dummy proof. Just hit the button and you're eligible, and then we'll let you know if you won. There you go. Houston and Dallas, 218 is the total. Dallas is a 7-point favorite here, despite the fact we have Luka ruled out. We have Luka ruled out in addition to I'm scrolling down and finding where I have this noted. Yeah, JaVale McGee, he's got a neck, so he can't play. Kleber's got a back. He's not playing. So, yeah, no Luka and a couple of the bigs, McGee and Kleber. We are projecting Powell, DFS, Bullock, THJ, and Dinwiddie to start against Houston. Houston basically fully healthy. Tate's got an ankle. He's not playing. I don't like any Rockets. Dallas is a bad matchup. They play slow. 10-game slate. Tons of value. Is there anybody you like on Houston?
I like in GBPs, you can take a shot on Jalen Green or Kevin Porter, but I wouldn't be going like out of your way to get Houston guys. It's the Maverick side we want, right? Like Dinwiddie, Christian Wood with Luke out. They're going to assume a pretty significant usage bump. Tim Hardaway at 4K is going to be very chalky. It's more getting to these Mavericks that I have interest in from this game, and I think a lot of people are going to have interest in.
Do you think they let Christian Wood have some fun in this game against his old team? They let him get loose?
So I was thinking of who do you think's a better play, Christian Wood or Dinwiddie?
So I think Christian Wood.
They're both fantastic, but I prefer Wood. I think Wood's probably my favorite play on this slate from a chalk perspective. Like he's the one I'm going to be trying to get to very heavily.
Okay.
Dinwiddie also, but if you had to choose between the two, I'd play Wood.
I agree with you, and I really thought about this, and there's some information, the reason why. Jason Kidd last night indicated basically everybody that's available tomorrow is going to play. He's talking about like everybody's available. There's 11 dudes available, and he also talked about how he wants to make sure they develop a backup point, somebody else that can handle the ball besides Luka. playing Campazzo or Ntilikina. But those guys get some run today, right? They're going to get more run than they normally get. And Houston's a fun team to do that against. Why not? Like, you're probably going to win the game anyway, theoretically. 6-point favorites, whatever it is. And Dinwiddie is a guy remember historically, Dinwiddie used to not play back-to-back sometimes. I think that was at Brooklyn. He had, some injuries. He played 41 minutes last night. That's 40.
I worry about Dinwiddie as chalk. I'm playing him, but I don't know at what clip I'm playing at him currently. I'm definitely going to be very heavy on Wood.
I really like Dinwiddie, and I'm not here to scare anybody off him, and he's a really strong play. But again, I don't worry about him completely. I feel like, I don't know. I'd play I was trying to say something else, and Dinwiddie's a fine play, but relative to Wood, I worry. Yeah. And every optimizer is going to give you Dinwiddie for the record. If you guys it's going to spin him out, and he's a strong play. We're projecting him for 45 fantasy points at 7.1K. And again, just to be clear, I'm going to have some, but I'm not hitting the lock button on it, I don't think, because I think there's a chance he plays 29 minutes or 32 minutes. And he's still going to be really good in those minutes, but we're projecting 37.
So what about Hardaway? Hardaway was kind of what I was.
I like him. Yeah. And you can play him at the small forward spot, and he's going to be popular as well, for the record.
If you had to rank them, how would you rank them?
As far as Cleveland? I'm sorry, as far as Dallas?
Yeah.
Hold on. I just see that.
For me, it's Wood, Dinwiddie, Hardaway.
Yeah.
I know they're different prices, but as chalk, if you think they're going to get there, I don't know.
Dwayne Dedman, Undertaker.gif, likely to play today. And Derek White expected to start for Marcus Smart. There you go. So Dwayne Dedman is going to get some popular. He's going to be well-owned. And he's another guy I'm just going to be a little bit under the field on, I think. But tournament-wise, I think Dinwiddie is a good get under the field on. And if this was an island game, if he didn't play 41 minutes yesterday, I would almost definitely just lock him up and say, screw it. I'm going to put – you want 40%? I'm going to play 100%. Come get me. And also the quotes from Kidd, and sometimes coaches lie, but Kidd implicated that he wants to get Ntilikina and Campazzo, who, by the way, we're projecting for 4 minutes and 10 minutes. Do not roster those guys. But and Josh Green's another guy who can get some more run. He's not necessarily a ball handler, but just he's another guy that can kind of enter the rotation and could potentially, maybe get a sprinkle of him, but I can't imagine. It's just they're going to play a deeper rotation, and I just don't know if they play Dinwiddie 37 minutes after they played 40 minutes yesterday. That's my apprehension. And I think they let Wood have a good time against his old team. We're projecting 29 minutes, and it's a good matchup. Obviously, there's no rim protector there. I like Christian Wood a good bit. I agree with you. Is there anything else here that we should focus on, or shall we move on?
I think we can move on.
Let's see. Just taking a peek as far as what's going on. What's the most players that we would roster from one team on this slate?
I think 3.
I wouldn't go beyond 3.
I haven't go beyond 3.
Yeah. I'm not sure if optimizers are going to be giving anything different than that. I wouldn't think, because there's good stuff everywhere. I don't think there's not going to be.
You're going to get Hardaway, Wood, and Dinwiddie a bunch.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. Let's move on. Crunch Time Crew coming in about 10 minutes. We're timing this really well, Bobby. We got 2 games left. New York versus Denver. 226 is the total here. This is another one where there's some potential value. New York is fully healthy with the absence of Mitchell Robinson. Denver, well, Nikola Jokic is out. Bones Highland was upgraded to questionable. I think he was doubtful yesterday, and now he's questionable. That's also a health protocols thing, so I don't know if he's got to pass something, or I'm not really sure what the story is. Jokic out for that. Highland is questionable. And Aaron Gordon just has a straight-up illness. He's not feeling well. I don't think that's protocol-related. So we'll see. That's a 10 o'clock game. As of right now, I believe we're assuming Gordon is in. Our projection team keeps goofing around with Donovan Mitchell. He keeps throwing me off. I'm like, was he ruled out? But they can't decide if they want him in or out. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not sure if you're watching this as well on the screen, if you're watching it on your lineup HQ page, but it's throwing me off. And I'm like, did I miss some news? But as far as I know, he's still questionable. Yeah, so the Denver situation, are we really playing DeAndre Jordan? Is he even going to start is the other thing? Because they're going to run like 3 centers, right? Jordan and Green and who's the other guy? Najee, right? I believe.
I think Jordan is the pivot off Dedmon. Like if you're trying to get underweight or fading Dedmon, you should be pivoting to Jordan. Unless you're going against construction, like you said earlier, playing like a Turner or someone else at the center, with Christian Wood at the center position. But you're gonna need to save some salary, right? So I feel like he is the direct pivot. In terms of like Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, they both see a pretty good usage increase with Jokic out, obviously. So I don't mind getting to them. I feel like Porter, I'd be more interested than Jamal. I just think Porter. I just think he's the better play.
I'm thinking like in terms of lineup construction, like the guards that Murray's going up against, as far as competing for that spot.
Yeah,
I feel like the guards are stronger than whoever Porter's fighting with to get roster spots. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's kind of my thought process as well. And Aaron Gordon, if he plays, I think is in play also. I think he becomes a very strong player. If you had to rank these Denver guys, like how would you rank them?
I want to rank Murray and Porter like 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
I do think if Aaron Gordon plays at 5.8K, that's pretty strong. Bruce Brown, he can play like 1 through 4, basically, right? He's just versatile and kind of he should probably play 30 minutes. We got him projected for 30 minutes. It seems weird to see Bruce Brown at 5.
I don't know if you want to play Bruce Brown in tournaments though.
What is Bruce Brown's ceiling? Is that the question you're asking?
Yeah,
it's a fair question to ask. I don't know. What is his ceiling? 35? 38?
I don't love what do we have for his ceiling projection? I don't know.
It's a good opponent for him for what it's worth. New York, I believe, gives up the most threes this year so far in the league. His ceiling is that's
an insane.
That can't be accurate. I don't look at ceiling too often as far as their ceiling projection, but that is a monster number. 52 is his ceiling? Is that correct? How is the ceiling 52 with Murray 46?
That has to be a mistake.
That's got it. We gotta text Jamino again.
Yeah.
That seems too high, in my opinion.
I'm just looking other places to see where they have him based in terms of the ceiling.
Yeah, shop around. What else? I can't imagine it's that high, but
I don't know. It's not that high. That's incorrect. Why is that the ceiling there? Do you have any clarification on 52 point? That's like,
I'm not sure. That seems a little bit high to me.
Yeah.
But again, he's in my pool. Like I'm willing to play Bruce Brown. According to Herbert,
to play him too, but I don't know if he's that. That's interesting.
That seems a little bit high. But Denver is obviously you take Jokic out, Murray, Porter, Gordon, Brown, even KCP. Like I don't think I'm playing KCP. But his role is still kind of his role, like this 3-and-D guy. Bones Highland, if he plays, there's a path. But I don't, we don't know. He would certainly benefit if Gordon doesn't go.
Yeah.
We're still kind of waiting for that news. And this is why you might have to baby your lineups throughout the night, unfortunately. That's how it goes. Or, you can there's a lot of good players to lock up beforehand. Halliburton, by the way, officially available to play. So, okay, that's the news on Halliburton. That's good to know. Certainly you can play him. If you had dreams of TJ McConnell, I think they're going away. I'm sorry. Maybe another day. What was your ranking as far as the Denver guys? I think I said Murray and Porter are 1 and 1A.
Porter, Murray, Aaron Gordon. I guess Bruce Brown after Gordon and then Highland. But I'm not really. Yeah, that's pretty much where I have them.
We got Fried Drexler in chat. He's a big Bruce Brown fan, and he's like saying that we should be 50 seems reasonable. Like, okay.
I think that's an interesting. Like, I'm not seeing anywhere close to that. So,
yeah, I mean, his projection I think was 30. I want to say, which is a good projection. Good projection. 32 point in 30 minutes. And again, it's a good matchup. It's a good Bruce Brown matchup here against New York. The tricky part here, if you're playing 2 or 3 Denver guys, you don't have to, but sometimes I like to run it back. Typically, if you can, you want to break a tiebreaker. I don't really like any run backs on New York. I do think theoretically, if Hartenstein played 30 minutes, which that's a huge if, who really knows that center rotation, if he could stay out of foul trouble, but I feel like he could smash in 30 minutes against Denver.
It's a good matchup, right? Like, you're taking Jokic out.
I mean, if he's playing against DeAndre Jordan, it's going to keep him right by the basket.
Yeah, he's not DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, that's a really good matchup for him.
But then there's Najee and Green who could, they could stretch it a little bit. I don't know. It's like I don't feel confident in projecting.
I might put Hart. I'm playing 150, so I might put Hartenstein in my pool and see where he lands, just for if he's going to see DeAndre Jordan defense.
Anything else here before we talk about the hammer game that is Phoenix and Golden State?
Nope. Make sure you're backloading tonight.
Stan wants to know Halliburton. Do we play Halliburton? You can. I don't think I'm prioritizing Halliburton, but I'm not going to sit here and say you shouldn't play him. Like, he's certainly a good play, but there's a lot of good plays. And, I'm not going to discourage it. Where are you at in Halliburton right now that he's officially in? Do you have an official take?
Like, they're fully – I don't have very much interest in Indiana now because I feel like they're, fully healthy, right? Definitely not interested in the value plays like Mathurin or Healed. I do think if you play Halliburton, I'm playing ball, so I'm probably going to have some lineups where I run it back with Halliburton, or Turner, but I don't know. He's not someone I'm prioritizing. I don't know if that's the case for you. Said you weren't there, right?
Well, it's a good point, by the way, to mention, because I was talking about how I don't really want to play players on teams that are fully healthy, and you're right. Indiana is fully like Chris Duarte. That situation has been like that for a while. This is a fully healthy team, and also it's a 7:00 game. So, but it doesn't mean that you can't play him. But those are slight ticks against Halliburton, and I still like Turner, but it's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably have less, but I do want to play a little bit of LaMelo also. So maybe I'll run it. Turner.
You don't have to run it back every time with LaMelo. I'm just playing 150, so I'll have some run back with Halliburton or Turner.
All right, last game. Crunch Time Crew knocking on the door. They're coming in shortly. Golden State, Phoenix, 227 is a total. Golden State is a 2-point favorite here. Is that right? Oh, because Chris Paul is out, I guess. I believe they're still winless on the road. Last I saw, they're one of 4 teams that are still winless on the road. Golden State, Detroit, the Lakers, and the Magic. I don't think that's changed. All right. As far as Golden State, we're expecting there are Klay Thompson's good to go. He's back from his rest. Phoenix, no Chris Paul, no Cam Johnson. That's going to be like that forever. Landry Shamet as well. I mean, Ayton's too cheap on DK at 6'1". That's another center. Like, if you don't want Dedmon, like Ayton at 6'1" is really good. It's just, this slate, there's really good stuff everywhere. Golden State is fully healthy, and I don't really like anybody in Golden State. Like, if you want to play Klay, you want to play the narrative with him and Booker. Who knows? There might be ejections in the first quarter. Probably not. I imagine that won't happen. National TV. But I don't like the Warriors,
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you. I don't really have anyone from the Warriors that I want to play. You can always make a case for Curry, but I'm not going to be playing Curry. And then Booker on the Phoenix side, I think, is someone I will have interest in.
I like him.
Yeah, because if Paul's out, well, that's the thing. Is Paul coming back tonight? Like, he might come.
No, he's out.
He's out? Okay, so.
Either doubtful or out. I can't remember what the official ruling was, but it seems
Booker,
very
I really have a ton of interest in currently. And Ayton's price at 6'1", like you said, it's a way to differentiate your construction at the center position. I don't hate that at all. That's too cheap for Ayton.
I think he's going to grab ownership because, and like, let's see. Just want to double check as far as Chris Paul unlikely to play is the official thought on him right now. We are getting only 9% ownership on Ayton at 6.1K. Like that just seems too low. He kind of sort of, I wouldn't say benefit. I sort of like him with Paul because Paul's, one of the greatest passers of all time, but I think he's still fine here. He can get his at 6'1". The Payne thing is just, I think he's a little too expensive at this point at 6'6" for this slate. He's just priced kind of where he should be.
Yeah, so, I wouldn't be playing Payne here.
It's Booker and it's Ayton for me in this game, and that's basically it. Yeah, I have really nothing else. We got the Crunch Time crew coming in shortly. I believe it's you got Keith, you got Kevin Roth, you got Andy. Andy's going to help you guys out with cash games. And you have Keith who's going to help you guys out with tournaments. You guys pay attention.
Andy's a late scratch.
Andy's a late scratch. What is he out? Did he have a fish or what's the story?
Not sure, but TJ's filling in.
All right, good. All right. Well, TJ will play the role of Andy. All right. He's versatile, TJ. You can play both. You can do the cash game deal or you can do the tournament deal as well. Are they here now or no? I guess not just yet. Sorry. You probably weren't ready for me to ask you a question.
Like 2 more minutes.
All right. We got 2 more minutes to kill. Let's see if there's any questions in chat. Your favorite stack? You have a favorite stack?
Maybe that I don't mind running back some of these Celtics with Atlanta with it being a 1-point spread. I feel like playing a Capella or a Collins or a DeJounte Murray or a Young as a run back. Not on every team, but on some, like with the game being the highest total. I think it's just a way to differentiate guys that are going to be pretty popular.
All right. Alan in chat. What's up, Alan? Alan wants to know Giddey or Green on Houston. Jalen Green or Giddey?
Giddey.
I think my answer would be Green because I'm more likely to play Dallas players than I am to play Washington players. But I understand, I'm just picking hairs, I suppose. But because I'm not playing anybody in Washington. Like, I'm just not doing that. Fried Drexler. I assume it's a shout out to Clyde. Anyone on, hey, you want to see this, Fried Drexler? I have a star basketball Clyde Drexler 1983 or so. Enjoy that. I don't know why that's randomly sitting next to me, but there it is. All right. Wants to know about Derek White. Yeah, we talked about him earlier. I think Derek White's a really strong play. I already reported he's going to jump in the starting lineup. No surprise there. Should play about 30-plus minutes or so. Derek White, is he somebody? Where's he at right now? According to your projections or according to your script, what percent do we have of White currently?
I have a good bit of White. I might come down a little after we get off the show, though. But currently, him and Pritchard, I have a good bit of. But I haven't really rerun anything since we started because it's nearly impossible to do.
Dex wants 3 locks for DraftKings. 3 locks. White feels kind of like, I don't want to say lock, but Tatum's awesome, but is he a lock? THJ feels like a really strong play for me. Dinwiddie is probably a quote unquote lock, but we talked about a potential fragility there.
Dinwiddie, Wood, and Dedmon. Well, I think Dedmon's kind of Dinwiddie, Wood. I might go Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray. I was going to say that too. There you go.
So then you're backloaded yeah.
Hey, Chris Jamino's in chat. Somebody who, his ears are ringing. What's up, Jamino? I haven't talked to him in so long. Hope he's doing well. He said whatever the projection was on Bruce Brown, apparently it's been fixed. What is it at currently now as far as Bruce Brown's ceiling? Because we were talking about, yes, the ceiling is probably the 99th percentile. I don't know. Of course, at some point in his life, he's put up 55 fantasy points. And all these guys, theoretically, their ceiling's higher than what it actually is, but it's a realistic ceiling, I suppose. Ceiling is now 43. That's more realistic. Okay, I can talk to that. What's up, Jamino? Jamino, did you also get the message that people want more tools? I'm sure you're not busy enough. Yeah. Slide into the DMs. Give me does that sound right for you? Bruce Brown, 32-point projection, 43 as far as the as far as the ceiling. Yes, he did have a 50-point game one time, but like
Milwaukee's whole team basically just got ruled out except for Giannis. Grayson Allen's out. Drew Holiday's out. Pat Connaughton's out.
the NBA, man, you gotta love it. Oh my God, who's left standing? Is he playing with his brother or what? What's the story? Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's a lot of guys.
Javon Carter, is Brook Lopez playing?
As far as I know, yeah.
Carter gets a bump, even though he had one originally.
Oh well, we're gonna leave
5,800 for Carter. No, ew. What about Jordan Nuora?
I like him when he starts, but they don't.
He might be starting now. What's going on? Like, what are they doing?
Portis has gotten a big price. Portis is 7-2. Like he was. That's why would Giannis play if everybody else is not playing? That's a strange thing they're doing, and
because he's good enough to still get them the win and have everyone else get the rest night.
Well, he theoretically was actually dealing with a knee injury. And why are we just learning about this now? Like we're supposed to get the season debut of Pat Connaughton. Allen, we kind of knew that was coming. Holiday, I guess that's not too surprising. It's just the Connaughton one that we're expecting.
Yeah, he's been questionable all day. Holiday has.
Yeah, so that one's not shocking. But like Connaughton was expected to start today or play. I don't know. You know what, Bobby?
Wendell Carter Jr. ruled out.
Oh, TJ, I know you're going to be hyping up.
This is going to be a fun one.
Mo Bamba season, baby.
How many minutes can Mo Bamba play before he fully combusts on the court? 27?
I would be getting to Bamba a ton here.
I have Bamba projected. I had this kind of in already, and I have Bamba projected at 28 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I think 20, it's a good number. I don't know if he gets beyond that. You assume he starts?
I do, yes, but even if he doesn't, I still love him.
Like they have nobody else. They have like Admiral Schofield and Caleb Houston, who's a person. Bull's tall, but like he's not a center. Like, you know. Hey, you know what, Bobby? You got anything else, the boys? We should step aside and let the crunch time do their thing. We got to make our lineups as well. Anything else before we step aside and get out of here?
That's it. Good luck, guys.
Roth, Fanduel sponsored Crunch Time starts with Kevin Roth, and I'm going to start scrambling. These boys are going to be scrambling as well on here. It'll be fun to watch. They're going to break down what's going on in Milwaukee. It's Keith. It's TJ. It's the Fanduel sponsored Crunch Time with Cheap Just Kevin Roth. Roth, take it over.
Appreciate it, Dino. God, it sounds like the whole world was blowing up. And I've got the right crew for it here. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz. One, we got the Iceman, Keith Eyster. What's happening, bud?
Just a little bit of everything, it seems like. We had a ton of questionable guys coming in. Thought we were kind of whittling it down. Didn't have much we were waiting on. And then Milwaukee just kind of threw a wrench in some things. We had so much value out there already, though. I'm not even sure that Milwaukee, as far as a cash game conversation is concerned, like it matters, but I still think I prefer the Dallas guys and the Denver guys. I'm going to look into that just a little bit more as we kind of intro here, but I don't think it changes a ton for cash, honestly, because Giannis has been out a little bit already.
Wendell Carter out though? Like now, or are we going to the big man? Like is Bol reasonable now? Because I want to play Bol.
I mean, he's a phenomenal tournament play. Yeah, absolutely. He's in the cash conversation. I'm not sure if he completely enters it. Like I said, there's already a ton of value out there. So for cash games, this doesn't change much. I think for tournament of just locking in all the value that had opened up until this point, you definitely have a lot more decisions to make now.
Okay, very good. Well, to help us with those tournament takes, we got TJ stepping in as well. TJ still looking sharp, still looking like the fresh H cut there, and still giving us some winner plays. You feel good about the news breaking, or did you feel like you had it all and now it's been taken from you?
No, that is the Milwaukee stuff is new to me, and I wasn't expecting that. However, I was expecting that Wendell Carter Jr. one. That was how I was projecting it. And so I was already getting a lot of Bol and Mo Bamba. And so looking forward to breaking this down. But I also do have 100 lineups in GPPs today. Wasn't expecting to be on crunch time, but did the quick sub for Meansy. So let's hop to it.
Okay. So yeah, I will say, I will give you time to do what you need to do, because I appreciate you subbing in, of course. But now that this Milwaukee news has broken, does that change things for you? Like I said, cash-wise, not a huge impact. But are you trying to kind of change what you're doing?
No, not really. I added Bobby Portis, Javon Carter, Nuora, and Beauchamp to my pool in limited capacities. I'll get slightly more Giannis, but that doesn't change a whole lot for me.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds pretty solid. Guys, let's talk about the slate and ice. You are now Meansy. You've got your Meansy cap on. Would you mind giving me kind of an overall look? You said there was already a ton of value and now there's more. I'm full disclosure, super pissed. I got signed out of my DraftKings app and my Fanduel app, and I can't sign back in because I don't know my passwords. So I can't play tonight, and I'm furious about it because it seems like a good night to play. But talk me through this slate here.
Yeah, so the Milwaukee news, the reason is Holiday is not as much of a star or as much of a usage guy as some of the guys who have already been rolled out. Luka is out for Dallas, and he does everything for Dallas. So all of Dallas is projecting phenomenally. And you have Jokic out for Denver, another just monster guy that does everything fantasy-wise. So that bumps Jamal Murray way up. Bruce Brown is really cheap. Michael Porter Jr. should be more involved. So those two we already had leading up to this news that kind of broke here in the last 10 minutes or so. There's a ton of value options. Also, Chris Paul is expected to be out, so there could be some value on Phoenix. Just a lot going on today, lots of moving parts. I think that the two biggest news pieces were Luka and Jokic, and we already had those coming in. So it doesn't change much as far as optimal play. But for tournaments, it adds even more to the pool of what has already been a very large pool on a 10-game slate.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up. I've got family in town, but you just blew my mind with the stars that are out. Holy smokes. Okay, well, let's talk about what the best, because everybody's coming with the heat. Like everybody's putting up 300 tonight. So help us put up 350 and talk to me about, what you're playing.
Everyone's putting up 350.
Yes.
We got to figure out how to put up 400 plus tonight.
Okay, there you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
Tell me what the game plan is here. What are you prioritizing?
So on FanDuel, Giannis was already in play for cash. I think with Holiday out now, he probably becomes more of a priority. But let's go ahead and start with kind of the value plays that means he has tagged up here. I touched on him a little bit already. Spencer Dinwiddie, 6,800. He's going to do a ton for Dallas. Should be the primary ball handler. Should run into a lot more usage. Like Luka's rates being out of this lineup means that there is a ton to go around for everyone.
He does
else.
everything. He does
Absolutely.
everything, and he rebounds. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
Yep. And Christian Wood is going to be in that conversation as well because of that rebounding. He should run into a few more minutes, and it's Christian Wood revenge night. So Wood at 6,300 is another guy that he has tagged up here. There are multiple options on Dallas that you can play. Everybody, Hardaway is certainly underpriced. I don't think you need a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith for cash, but certainly in play for tournaments.
He shot, what's his price? Because he shot 13 threes last night. Like the guy sometimes gets him up.
He's in the 4Ks. I think he's 4K flat on FanDuel here. So absolutely in play, but again, just might not need it because the 6K guys are really strong plays as well. If you're working on a build that has Giannis in it, maybe you need a value guy like that. Jamal Murray is the other one with no Jokic. Like Jokic gets a ton of assists. Murray's assist rate should go up in this spot. Jokic also shoots a ton. Murray's usage rate should go up in this spot. So those are the three tags, Dinwiddie, Murray, and Wood, just all too cheap for the roles that they're going to have tonight. And then I think on FanDuel, especially where the salary cap is looser, I think you go Giannis next after those guys. So that gives you a nice start to the build. And then we can go through just kind of some positions and talk about a few other guys that are in play here. Point guard, we touched on Murray already and Dinwiddie. Also, LaMelo Ball is completely underpriced if he's going to have his normal allotment of minutes. Haven't seen a great game from him yet, but he's 8,300. He did get to 32 minutes in the last game. Has a fantastic matchup against Indiana. I think LaMelo Ball, he is point guard only, So Murray and Dinwiddie being tagged, they both have shooting guard eligibility as well. So I think Ball is another guy you're considering here at point guard. Play one of those other two guys at shooting guard. Derek White is in the conversation as well. We didn't talk about the Boston situation. We have Marcus Smart out for Boston. We have Malcolm Brogdon out for Boston. So there's a need for a ball handler in Boston is certainly in play. Derek White is who we have projected to jump into the starting lineup right now. He's only 5K. Peyton Pritchard as an extreme value, 3,700, should run into a lot more minutes here as well. So both of those Boston guys absolutely in play. If you're not going Giannis in the lineup, Devin Booker would certainly be in play as we move over to shooting guard here. Chris Paul has not been ruled out officially, I do not believe, but the note did come down that he is not expected to play. So nice little bump for Booker there at 9K. If you don't want to go all the way up to Giannis, Booker is certainly in consideration. I think that, and then Tim Hardaway is the other one. You can play him at small forward as well. Bruce Brown, also another cheap one. So tons of options here, like I mentioned. Hardaway will say for forward. Bruce Brown is another guy that I did not mention, certainly in play here at 5K. Moving over to some small forwards. Bam Adebayo is out as well. So Jimmy Butler would be another fine guy to spend up on. You can probably fit Booker and Butler into your lineup if you don't want to get up to Giannis. Going up to Giannis does make it a little tough, probably still doable though with the value that's out there. So certainly looking at Jimmy Butler. 100 should run minutes here and more usage, just everything all around. Should more usage, more rebounding for Hardaway. And then Michael Porter, probably not as much of a priority on FanDuel here, but with no Jokic, I wouldn't fault you if you wanted to get him into your lineup at 6,200. Dorian Finney-Smith, the other Mavericks guy that is just underpriced for the tonight at 4K. Talked about Christian Wood a little bit already. Power forward, center eligible. Probably going to play him at power forward. Be at center. You have Dwayne Dedmon. No Bam Adebayo. Dedmon is projected to draw the start here against Toronto. Per minutes producer. So minutes are a little bit uncertain. He should produce in the little time that he's out there. And he should see at least 20 minutes, I would think, in the spot. He is minimum price 3,500 here. So I don't see any reason to go away from that. I guess Kevin Love could be another guy you could look at with no Jarrett Allen in Cleveland, and also in Boston, Al Horford at 5,500 you could look at as well.
Very good. Okay, excellent. That was a good breakdown. And I want too many, I want to enter 150 because there's so many good plays and so many good combinations of them. So let's talk tournaments, TJ. In a setup like this where you have so many good plays that maybe not one guy is like rock chalk because there's so many good ones, do you just try to put in all the chalk and mix it up, or are you still getting off the board?
Bit of both. Little bit of both. Because so much of this news has been late, I don't know how much people are going to adjust at the last second. You know, we've known about Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo all day. People have liked Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Dedmon all day. We've known about Luka Doncic all day, and therefore people have liked Christian Wood and Spencer Dinwiddie the whole time. And so because of all of this, I think Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't going to be as highly owned as he should be. And then on top of that, some of these Orlando value plays, I don't think anybody's really going to be getting to that as much as they should be. Like, they'll still, people will get there, but I don't think it'll happen as much as they should be. So
could I pause you, TJ? When you said Giannis isn't going to be as high owned, like, what other studs are people spending up on? Because we've got the money. We sure should have the money.
So weirdly enough, the mid-range is kind of going to, like, the mid-tier build is probably going to be most popular because you got guys like Christian Wood, Devin Booker, Jamal Murray, Spencer Dinwiddie. That's going to be where everybody is going. Jimmy Butler. And so it's going to be more the mid-tier spends than the full-on spends that people are going to today. And I don't know how much, like, the best values aren't the 3K guys today. They're the mid-tier players. And so I don't think people are going to adjust to get to Giannis enough. So what I'm going to do is kind of take it through my highest owned plays at each position. at guard, like at point guard, the players I'm getting to the most are Jamal Murray and Spencer Dinwiddie, but I'll still probably end up being under the field on Spencer Dinwiddie just because 6,800, if he only plays 32, 33 minutes instead of 37, 38, he might not get there. They might decide to just full on rest people a little bit if this game gets ugly against Houston. So I'm going to be under the field on Dinwiddie, but over the field on
TJ,
Christian Wood.
Bamba is officially starting, so all systems go there. He is in the cash conversation. I forgot to mention him on FanDuel. He's 4,400, so he's more expensive than Dedmon. Still lean Dedmon, but with Bamba officially in the lineup, he's in play for sure.
4,400 in starting, like
Dedmon's 3,500 in starting.
Yeah. All right, TJ. Sorry, continue.
I'm just deciding right now if the 25% each I have of Bamba and Bol Bol is enough. I might be wanting to get to even more at this point.
And are you splitting them, or can you play them together, TJ?
I'm playing only FanDuel today, and they're both only center eligible,
Gotcha.
so you can only play one.
Okay, if we were on DK real quick, I don't mean to jump ahead. Do you think you could group those guys together, or no, because they're eating into each other's rebounds and et cetera?
I think you can play them together because Bol has power forward eligibility and Bamba's very cheap, so I think you can.
Okay, fair enough. All right, continue. I didn't mean to cut into your spiel there.
No, you're good.
Actually, I didn't do it. It was ice, but anyways. Yeah, but continue.
My highest owned plays on the slate are a lot chalk, but there's a little bit of differentiation mixed in. So I'm looking at guys like Christian Wood, Devin Booker, Jamal Murray, Kevin Love, Tim Hardaway, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Mo Bamba, Spencer Dinwiddie, Derek White, Bol. Those are, and Michael Porter Jr. Those are all of my players at over 30% right now. Other than that, I'm just trying to mix in a bunch of different pieces back and forth in my lineups. I got a 78-person pool today, and some of those places I think are interesting in tournaments is New Orleans. We still have no Zion Williamson, and Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum are in very interesting spots. Mm-hmm. I liked Jonas Valanciunas yesterday. That didn't work because he got in really bad foul trouble, but people seem to really like Larry Nance today, and Jonas Valanciunas even less. I'll go back to the well there in tournaments. And then mixing and matching some of these guys that were questionable throughout the day, like Tyrese Halliburton and Fred VanVleet. Nobody's really going to be getting there. Playing a little bit of I'm playing a lot of Devin Booker, so because of that, I'm even mixing in a little bit of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson for just in case this is a nice tight game that's high scoring. So I'm getting a lot of the chalk plays, and then I'm trying to mix in a lot of, for example, if I'm playing a lot of Boston, well, why don't I mix in a little bit of Trae Young and DeJounte Murray in there? If I'm playing a lot of Dallas, why don't I mix in a little Jalen Green, a little game stack type things into my lineups?
Love it. Okay, very good. And you have to, when you're doing 100, you got to be careful about, you want to make sure you've got the right guys going against the stars, essentially, right? Yeah,
exactly. And so like I like to always have, if I have more than two players on one team, I like to get it back with a run back on the other side.
Very good. Here's a name that I haven't seen. Any interest in SGA?
Yes, I do like SGA in tournaments, but I'm only getting at about 10-15% of them right now.
All right, very good. Let's kick things over to DK here. We still have 16, 17 minutes or so. Ice, if you don't mind, kind of walking us through a DK build, preferably cash thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the same names here. With Bamba officially in the starting lineup, means he had a little bit of an emergency, but I think that Bamba would be a core tag now at this point. 4,400 in the lineup. You can play multiple centers here on DK. So I think Bamba would be a core play here. We talked about Dinwiddie and Murray already, definitely core plays. Michael Porter Jr. is the one difference where I think he's much more in play here on DK than he was on FanDuel. He's cheaper, has that small forward eligibility, which is not a strong position. So Dinwiddie, Murray, Wood, and Porter are the guys means he has tagged up, and I think you can add Bamba to that now that he is in the starting lineup. Mm-hmm. Some other, just the Giannis was not in the cash conversation before Drew Holiday was ruled out. He is now. I still think you go more like 2 9K guys than getting up to Giannis. He's 12.6, and the salary cap is a lot tighter here on DK. So not as much of a priority as he was on FanDuel. Would be totally fine dropping down to somebody like Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, or Jimmy Butler if you wanted to do that instead of going all the way up to Giannis.
It's shocking to me that we don't have the money to plug in Giannis. Like, I feel like we do.
So you do now. You did not 30 minutes
Right.
ago, but you do now. Like, Giannis was going to be extremely low owned on DraftKings until all of this news broke. Bamba entering the conversation now. He is certainly more so in the cash conversation than he was.
Okay.
Just going through a couple of other options you might be considering. I think we've talked about most of the names, but I'll go through quickly. Just from the guards, you've got Dinwiddie, Booker, Murray. LaMelo's priced up a little bit more here on DK, so I'd probably try to get to Booker. They're only 300 apart. Booker, obviously playing without Chris Paul, has a little bit better role. Tim Hardaway has guard eligibility here. I would probably play him at small forward. He's 4K, but certainly in play there. Peyton Pritchard, if you need to save money, a name we've mentioned already, 3,400 on DK, and Derek White, 4,900, also in play. Kind of think you do that. That Bamba kind of gets you away from the value guards, though. I think Bamba is the much better way to save some salary.
Okay. Yeah.
Couple other forwards. I guess we talked about Hardaway, talked about Porter Jr. Jimmy Butler as a spend up, absolutely fine. Giannis as a spend up, absolutely fine. Christian Wood, 6,400. Talked about him a lot on FanDuel. Aaron Gordon is in the conversation at 5,800 with no Jokic, and Bruce Brown as well. Slightly to the other guys that we have mentioned already, though. And then center is pretty easy. I think it's Mo Bamba and Dwayne Dedmon, both way too cheap for their starting.
Okay. I think this is an interesting point brought up by Chinatown here. And he says Dallas is the slowest paced team in the league. And essentially because they do the same thing every time. And it's Luka isolations or Luka pick and rolls. Without Luka, they're going, not only do they, all that usage, but also they're going to play at a faster pace, right? Is that what you guys are projecting or expecting?
Or they could just do the exact same thing with Dinwiddie.
I do agree they're going to play. First of all, it's a pace-up spot against Houston in general.
Mm-hmm.
Houston doesn't play any defense. So, yeah, they are going to be faster paced today. They're also cheap, and there's so much usage available that, like, they're already smash plays even before you consider the pace here, in my opinion. So, yeah, you want at least a couple Dallas guys in each lineup, I think.
Yeah, I just feel like a guy like THJ could go for 30 real life points. I feel like
absolutely
they could really, really pour it on. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add here cash wise?
And to that exact point, something that I want to touch on was for tournaments. That's exactly what I'm doing is I'm getting a ton of Dallas exposure, but Spencer Dinwiddie is my third highest owned Dallas player. Like, we're projecting at him over 50% right now, which, yes, he is the best play on the slate, but I don't think he's that good of a play. And so I'm only getting about 35% of Dinwiddie, getting over 40% Hardaway, over 50% Christian Wood. And that's kind of my way to get a leg up on the field a little bit. And then the other thing that I'm doing is I'm getting to some players that I'm a little bit uncomfortable with right now in GPPs because I have a rule in my lineup HQ that I want to get minimum one Dallas and minimum one Denver player in all of my lineups. And one of the reasons, not just because of how good the value is there, but also just in case any news opens up later in the day, those are some later games that give me some swappability. And so at this point, the way I'm looking at it is I can take a shot on somebody like a Zeke Naji, Bones Highland, who's still questionable, Jeff Green, even somebody like Facundo Campazzo for Dallas, just in case Spencer Dinwiddie chalk crashes. They decide to sit him in the second half or something like that, and Campazzo plays 26 minutes. You never know with how many guys they're already resting, and Spencer Dinwiddie played 41 minutes last game.
True.
So
yeah, they're getting their asses kicked. Yeah.
I'm going to weave in players like that are just in case could have big games, but with the plan that if news breaks after walk, I have those guys that I can take out of my lineups and adjust for something else.
Okay, very good. TJ, is there anything you want to kind of throw in here on DK, or are you good to just open it up for QQs?
I'll just check if there's anything specifically that I think I want to touch on. Not in particular. It's basically just all the same stuff as FanDuel for me.
Okay, well, we've got 9-10 full minutes here. Mike says, FanDuel single entry, you okay fading Dinwiddie and going with other Mavs? TJ, you're not fading Dinwiddie, but that's in some ways your thesis a little bit.
It fully depends on your risk tolerance. He is the most optimal play on the slate, but he is also probably the most over-owned play on the slate, given the chances he's in the optimal lineup and how many people are playing him. So it depends on your risk tolerance. If you're blowing 80% of your bankroll on your single entry tonight, then no, I'd be terrified of it. But if you're practicing good bankroll management, you're comfortable with either winning big or just losing all your money tonight, then heck yeah, I would.
Okay, great answer. I like that. All right, excellent. Let's get to some of these QQs. As always, I'm starting with the Crunch Time Discord channel. If you're not in it, you should be. And then if we catch up on all those, I'll jump over to the YouTube. Let's go with DKGPP. TJ, when looking at a slate, what criteria do you use to determine if you go stars and scrubs or balanced lineup? It's just you play the best plays?
Yeah, pretty much. I basically just plug in my core. Who do I like best? And for me, those guys today are going to be Christian Wood, Devin Booker, Tim Hardaway, Kevin Love. For tournaments, for me, those are the first I'm plugging into my lineups. And then based on the other play, I'm looking at guys like Derek White, Mo Bamba, Bol. Those are the type of guys that I'm mixing in to hopefully get a little bit different. Giannis Antetokounmpo as well. And so for me, it just depends. I plug in my first few pieces, and then how much salary do I have left? That basically makes it decide if it stars and scrubs or balanced.
Kevin Love and Derek White, two names that I don't think Ice mentioned, right?
I did at the margins. They were very much in play until Bamba opened up. Kevin Love there's no Jared Allen, and in Boston there's no Marcus Smart or Malcolm Brogdon. So yes, both very much.
So viable cash game plays as well. Okay, that's kind of what I was curious about. Okay, let's keep this rolling here.
For what it's worth, on FanDuel, where that Bamba and Love are only $200 apart, I still think Love is the better play than Bamba in cash tournaments, all of it.
Okay, very good. NBA DFS is FanDuel cash. Ice, you want Ingram, Ball, or Butler and Turner? M. Turner, that is.
I'd prefer the second one there.
Very good. DK cash, again, right back at you here. Booker, Butler, or Bruce Brown and Giannis?
Yeah, that's the tough. Like, is Giannis a priority? Is kind of what you need to decide. I think I lean the first one just because I'm like Giannis might not get his full run in this game is what I'm concerned about, and Booker and Butler are both in fantastic spots. So I lean.
Like I was certain we should play Giannis until I saw that 2v2, and now I get it. Like now it's clicking. I'm like, oh yeah, I do want all right, aside FanDuel cash, again, if you don't mind, just going to keep the cash questions coming to you, Ice. This is Porter Jr. and Bamba or Turner and Dedmon?
Give me the first one.
Very good. DK cash, Butler THJ or Porter Jr. and Wagner?
Was that cash?
It was DK cash.
Sorry,
Butler THJ. Yeah, Butler THJ or Porter Jr.
It's
Wagner.
that one. Butler,
the first one is.
Okay, very good. FanDuel single entry, TJ. This one's for you, my man. Oh, that was fading Dinwiddie. Never mind. We already got that one. DKGPP, TJ, Halliburton or Garland?
On the off chance that Mitchell was out, just because, like, if you're assuming Mitchell is in, it's Halliburton. But on the off chance that Mitchell is out, just because Milwaukee is sitting all of these guys, I would almost go with Garland just to, just for the purpose of he'll be incredibly low owned and could be still one of the better plays on the slate if Mitchell's out.
Okay, very
like
good.
Mitchell, I'm assuming is going to be in, but it's just with Okay, Donovan Mitchell will play. Just got announced 1 minute ago.
There you go.
Therefore, the answer is Tyrese Halliburton.
Good answer. All right, good stuff. Jay Sam says, hey, isn't somebody like Ball a viable fade at high ownership in tournaments? And then playing someone like Plumlee and Halliburton together, a more unique way of getting exposure to that game.
Yes, but I don't think you need to worry about the ownership too much for Ball today. And it's going to be elsewhere that we're getting the mega chalk today.
Okay, good. Ball says, DK Cash, Ice, you want Butler Booker? I feel like everybody, Butler Booker is, we already took that question. So there's a repeat of the same question. You want Butler Booker over Giannis Bruce Brown?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I think that was a different person asking the same question. Gamble says, FanDuel Cash, this is a 3v3, Draymond, Dedmon, Booker, or Derek White, Miles Turner, and MPJ.
Second one.
Achilles, I like this question. Should you be playing both Bamba and Dedmon in DK Cash, or just one of them?
You should be playing both.
Very good. G-Man, DK, GPP, TJ, how do you feel about Barrett in a run back with Denver? Feels like we're not talking about some of these Knickerbockers.
I think I got him in 2 of my 102 lineups, but yes, the run backs do make some sense. I just don't know which one of them it's going to be. It could be any of 8 players who do something for New York today. That's why I'm not very high on them.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. John Tom, DK, GPP, TJ, Butler, Dedmon, or Miles Turner and Kevin Love?
Miles Turner and Kevin Love.
Very good. Back to the GPPs here. What are your thoughts on Javon Carter?
I think he is fine. It's just he's been priced up to a point for Drew Holiday to be out.
All right. Arlo says, DK Cash, if you plug in Bamba and Dedmon optimals, to get off of Porter Jr., is that a mistake? I don't fully understand that, but hopefully you do.
So I think he has to sacrifice Porter Jr. if he's going to play Bamba and Dedmon together, and I think that is okay. Of those 3, he's the most expensive, and also so far this season, when Jokic has been out, Porter Jr.'s rates have actually not come up. I mean, that doesn't seem correct. It seems like he should be getting more usage, but so far to this point in the season, he has not. So he's the one I would prefer to sacrifice of the 3.
Okay, great answer. FanDuel Cash, right back to you here. Love and Jimmy Buckets or LaMelo and Porter Jr. And I feel like, well, I'll just let you answer it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really close. Both are good. I would lean the first one slightly.
Yep. All right. FanDuel single entry. Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon to pair with Murray. And if you're doing this, never mind. Just leave it at that. Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon to pair with Murray. TJ, single entry.
Probably. I'd actually go Aaron Gordon if he plays, and then just under the assumption you can swap it to Porter Jr., who then becomes a very good play if Aaron Gordon doesn't.
Great answer. All right. Let's see. FanDuel, any interest in Boucher as his matchup seems to be improved with Bam out? Is this a situation where we don't care about defenders being out so much because there's just, like
how I picture this game going is Dedmon playing 24-ish minutes and neither team playing a center for the majority of the game, and Jimmy Butler and OG Anunoby / Scotty Barnes being the 2 teams closing centers if the game is close.
Okay.
I agree with that as well.
Okay, very good. DK Cash, coming right back to you, Ice. 3v3, almost at lock here, guys. Ball, Butler, Dedmon, or Wagner, MPJ, and Brown?
First one.
DK Cash, 3v3. Bamba, Butler, Booker, or Giannis, Pritchard, MPJ?
First one.
Getting cute here, but what are your thoughts on Maladon taking those Dennis Smith Jr. minutes for the Hornets at 3-3 on DK? I'm intrigued.
Too
This
cute
is obviously
for me.
a TJ question.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think it's necessary today.
All right, getting too cute. DKGPP, if I play Booker Ayton, which Warrior do you want to run it back with? You mentioned Clay. You mentioned Steph.
Clay, I think, would be my favorite way to do it. But if you can pay up, Steph would then make it be like, if you can fit Steph in your lineup, it's him. It's just Clay would be the easier one to do it.
Yeah, gotcha. And hey, with that, gentlemen, we have perfectly hit the lock. We do not have a whole lot of time to hang out. We actually got a bounce here. I do want to say, though, if you haven't done so, make sure you sign up for the Fanduel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. Take advantage of their fantastic bonus offer. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1K. All we ask of you is you hit that thumbs up like button on YouTube. We'll keep giving you this free content. For TJ and for Ice and for our wonderful production team, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow, late tomorrow. I think at like midnight, middle of the I hope the show tomorrow gets canceled. It's so late, but we might catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.